Yeah, that should help here. Hello everyone, this is Mike here with you guys once again, and this is my long-awaited review of Titanfall. I'm sorry it took me so long to do this review, but because of my slower internet connection, I wasn't able to get on at any time. There are times when I can get on and there are times when I can't. It depends on my internet speed. So I'm going to get this technical stuff out of the way first. If you have a unreliable internet connection, there are going to be times where you cannot get in. Now, I don't know if this will be remedied in the future, but for right now, you're not going to be able to get in whenever you want unless you have a solid internet connection. This is different from past multiplayer games because before, as long as you had a broadband connection of any kind, you could play a multiplayer game. So even if I couldn't watch YouTube videos, I could still go online and play multiplayer. Well, not with this game. With this game, you're going to only the fast get in, or not even the fast, but there is a certain standard. You have to have a faster internet connection with this game than you do with every other multiplayer game out there that I know of. Every other multiplayer game I've played. So keep that in mind before you decide to pick this up. Now, on to the review itself. Titanfall. Let me tell you something. I am horrible at multiplayer, and Titanfall is no exception. It's just as hard as any other multiplayer game. When they say that this game is more accessible to noobs, it doesn't mean that it's easier to get kills on. What it means is they are lenient in the sense that everybody gets a Titan in a certain amount of time. It's just that the ones who do better get their Titan sooner, but everyone does get a Titan. And also, so that's for the most part, this game is not a game for noobs any more than any other multiplayer shooter. It's just as difficult as far as getting kills are concerned. Now, I'm going to go through each of the modes, talk about them individually. I'm going to talk about the campaign first. The campaign was really interesting. It had a really interesting idea and how they did it, but I feel like they underused it. For example, I was thinking you could either, one, have the story change based on how well your team does, and sadly that doesn't happen. It doesn't matter if you win every match or lose every match, or you win some, lose some. The story plays out exactly the same way. So I would have liked to have seen the your consequences matter. I would like there to be consequences in the story based on how well your team plays. But I do think there's potential here to really come up with something interesting because it's different and it gives you a narrative while you play, and even if you suck, the narrative, you don't have to replay a part of the story just because you suck at the game. Now some people might find that, a minus, but it depends on if you like difficult games or not. But it's it's an idea that's not really used very often. I think Brink did it, but I don't know, I haven't played it, but I heard that Brink did it. But I would really like to see them play around with this more and try some things with this, because there's some real potential here, but I feel like it was underused. So that's the campaign. Now I'm going to go to the next mode. Now we're going to go into the classics. And first I'm going to start with attrition. Attrition is basically team deathmatch, and it is just like team deathmatch. It has the same plus and minuses. Depends on if you like team deathmatch or not. I personally feel like team deathmatch, there's too much downtime. You're wandering around for like a minute finding nothing. And the grunts were supposed to prevent that, but it doesn't really happen. I mean, whether you're in a Titan or you're a pilot, you're running around the map for a long period of time. There's a possibility that you can run around the map without finding anybody. And I had hoped that the minions and the grunts would remedy that, but it hasn't. Alright, now next up is my favorite mode, and this is Hardpoint Domination. Now everyone in this, my friend thinks it's his favorite mode. Adam Sessler said that it's the best way to show off what the game has to offer was in this mode. I love Hardpoint Domination because no matter how bad you suck, if you stay at a hardpoint as long as you can, you will rack up points quick. You get a hardpoint hold 75 points every few seconds or so. Those rack up. So every time that now I get last place almost every multiplayer match, except in Hardpoint Domination. In Hardpoint Domination, I actually get first place, even though I have no skills at all. Now, normally, I personally want to count this as a plus, But from a gameplay point of view, I probably should count it as a minus, because for a competitive multiplayer, it just feels too easy to rack up with that. You know, it would be better just to get points when you simply kill somebody who's in that area. But if you just stand there racking up points, it requires no skill at all. And for this, from a competitive multiplayer game, I have to say it's a minus, just for fans of that genre, because you're not. It basically rewards camping, and it rewards it wholeheartedly. And I like it from a personal level because I suck at multiplayer, but I shouldn't be able to get to first place if I suck. So yeah, as a critic, I count it as a minus, but personally, I do enjoy it. So it's a plus for me personally. So you can take it which way you want to. Now next up is Capture the Flag. Now this mode really has a lot of. That's a pretty intense experience, because when you capture the flag, everybody's after you, and I mean everybody. So that's probably the most intense mode of all the modes. I feel like Capture the Flag is the most intense. So if you want a nail-biting, really tense experience, play Capture the Flag. You will not regret it. And next up is Last Titan Standing, and this is probably the worst of them all, because it's done in seconds. It takes no time at all for your Titans for the Titans to all be destroyed. So it's just because Titans aren't meant to last forever. I mean, they can if you don't find combat, but when you're playing the game and you're engaged, the Titans, they're really meant to be just a part of the match. So when you have the entire match, when everybody has a Titan and the last Titan's gone, and everybody has to kill the other Titans first, it just runs too quickly. It's just too quick of a mode. So I would probably consider that the worst of all the modes in the game. And next up is that's with the mode where you you only get points if you kill pilots. Now this is probably the most difficult of all the modes, and I know I said Capture the Flag was pretty difficult, but Capture the Flag is more tense. Where this, I think, is most difficult because you have to seek out pilots, and they're hard to find, and they're hard to kill too, because they're so they move around so well. And then they can run on walls and fly and all this. So if you really want a challenge, like if you really have the skills, I would try that mode out. And then finally, there's a mode where you just mix it up, where it randomly gives you a mode and you can play it. Like, you might get Capture the Flag one time, and then next time, for the next match, it might be attrition, and so on and so on. Just mixes it up for you. The combat, the game, the thing everybody is saying about this game is balance, and it is balanced out so well, and I mean almost perfectly, if not perfectly. You're always vulnerable, but you always have an advantage, no matter if you're a pilot, whether you're in your Titan, or you have your Titan guard. It's just the balance on this game is just phenomenal. It's one of the best designed multiplayer games I have played in a long time, and also, it's a lot of fun. Even if you suck, and you will get frustrated if you suck, because I suck. And I was more frustrated with the fact that people were saying that it's noob accessible. It's not really. You could argue that maybe hardpoint domination is because you can rack up points doing nothing, but that's not really accessibility. That's just giving away points if you think about it, for doing nothing. But I'm not a big fan of multiplayer shooters. I only play them with my friend. But I wanted to play this game myself. And I have played this game myself, and I enjoy this game myself. And I think it has something to do with the uniqueness of it. The fact that it's not a military shooter. Those have been done to death. I mean, those were good, but those have been done to death. And it's time for multiplayer to start experimenting, and I think we're going to be seeing that this year, because, again, not only do we have this, we got Destiny coming up later this year, and we have Evolve, which the premise looks very, very promising. So overall, if you're a fan of multiplayer shooters and you have a fast enough internet connection, pick this up now. If you have a slower internet connection and you like multiplayer shooters, you might want to wait on this. Or if you don't mind playing it sometimes but not being able to play it every time, go ahead and pick it up. But I personally would probably wait until there's a price drop, or hopefully the stability issues will be fixed soon. They did release a patch first day, but that was only temporary as more people bought the game over the weekend. So, yeah, definitely But everyone else, if you love multiplayer shooters, you love fast-paced, high-octane shooters, pick this up. And even if you don't, I would still give it a try at least. Especially if you're a sci-fi fan and you like the idea of flying in a robot or doing parkour. And by the way, Mirror's Edge 2, please take a lesson from this game. This is how to do parkour right. I was so disappointed with the controls in Mirror's Edge 1. They were not accessible at all. But the controls here on Titanfall are the way to do parkour. This should be the standard, just like Call of Duty controls have been the standard for shooters for a long time. Okay. And, so yeah, definitely pick it up if you have a strong internet connection and you love multiplayer shooters. Give it a try. Like, go to a friend's house and play it, or rent it if you are unsure. And if you have a slow internet connection, wait a while, and then maybe pick it up later, depending on if the issues are resolved, or if there's a price drop, or if you don't mind waiting, or only being able to play it sometimes. Alright, so that is it. My review of Titanfall is definitely a thumbs up. It's the first Game of the Year contender, I believe, in my opinion, for this year. And I know there's going to be others, but for right now, Titanfall is the game to beat. So, definitely pick this game up if you have like I said before, pick this game up, enjoy it, and yeah, yeah, that's all I gotta say. Thumbs up for Titanfall, guys. That's my review. Take care.